Hello, this is Giselle Gamby, business and life coach and proud host of the Intuitive Pool podcast. We're now pivoting to season 4 with an invitation to raise the stakes. I know I was made to remind people to raise the stakes, to seize, to claim, and execute the vision that you've intuitively seen, and to never accept the crumbs. What would it mean if you raised the stakes in your own life? What would you say yes to? And what would you say an undeniable no to? Be inspired, be agitated, be activated, and most of all, hold this truth, that when you raise the stakes, the quantum field will show you dreams you didn't even know you had. Hi, Intuitive Pool community. I completed my Best Year Yet Masterclass last week, and it was really special. And I actually ended up re-recording it because I felt that the conversation was a little too private to share publicly. And so I have re-recorded the 3 days of my Best Year Yet Masterclass, and I've decided to put them on the podcast. I hope you enjoy. Hello and welcome to my Best Year Yet Masterclass. Let me give you a bit of background, a little bit of insider information. I have actually just finished delivering a 3-day, 1 hour each day, my Best Year Yet Masterclass. And my plan was that I would use the recording of that to be able to share it with you. But what happened was the participants had such an amazing experience, such a profound experience that they shared with me. And I just thought, I don't feel good about sharing their private, profound journeying home. And so I decided that I would honor that masterclass as its own entity, and that I would record directly to you a masterclass just for you. So welcome. Let me pre-frame this masterclass with a really important statement. For you to receive the profound seedlings that will occur, that can occur on this masterclass, you have to give your presence to the time that you have here with me, and you have to give your presence to the time that you have with yourself. Because without presence, these are just going to be words that you hear, and it will be a non-valuable experience for you. And I wouldn't be sitting here recording what I have just finished delivering again, if I didn't have a really sincere intention that when you are with what I'm sharing, that it is really profound. It is really profound. We had tears over the last 3 days. If the participants continue giving presence to the pieces that they received, they are well on their way to experiencing another most significant life-changing year. So please give your presence to this process. You know when it's time for another really big breakthrough year? You know that feeling? It's a feeling, you know that it's time. Well, that's what's happening in my world. That's what's happening with the people that I coach. And that's why I'm delivering this masterclass for those people who really feel that they've got this intuitive sense that this is going to be one of those really big years in all the best of ways. So let me introduce myself if you don't know who I am already. I am Giselle Gamby. I live in Sydney, Australia. I've been a coach and facilitator for the past 20 years. I came into coaching and facilitation. It was a plan that I didn't make. It was a very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable, and yet ultimately very happy accident. My life was full of chaos and crisis. 1999 to 2002. I was previously married to someone else. I had a baby in 1999 who was born, and then he died when he was 11 days old. I had a terrible marriage full of emotional and physical abuse and disloyalty. And all of that was the catalyst to my awakening. In 2002, I did a really big personal development program on me, and I've always been intuitive, and I went into a piece of writing, which I have always written. I've always written. And I heard Joshua, my baby, speak, and he said to me, "You're here to ignite people's spirits and hearts. That's what you did for me. 11 days was all I needed, and now I do the same to you." And as you can imagine, with those words, I was flooded with emotion, and I had no idea what those words meant. You're here to ignite people's spirits and hearts. I had no idea what that meant. One part of my life was very happy, and that was my career. I was an HR director for several hotels, and I thought that that's what I'd do, for the rest of my life. And in fact, I was being groomed for a regional role. And yet when I heard those words, I didn't know what they meant, but I could feel the gravity of them. And I knew that I had to leave my HR career. And now when I look back and I think, wow, that was so brave that I did that. That was so brave. So I did. And I gave all of my presence to these words. You're here to ignite people's spirits and hearts. And then one day I saw what the first version of that was, and certainly what the calling was, and that was for me to become a coach. And thus I have been coaching and facilitating for the past 20 years. In the last 11 years, I have been coaching in a very intimate one-on-one model and mastermind model, and also a program for graduates called Sacred Leaders. And it's only very new that a new way of working with people has arrived, and I will be speaking to that in this masterclass. So let's begin the masterclass. I have created this because I sincerely, sincerely wish for you to receive some groundbreaking awareness, some life-changing insights, some game-changing intuition. And it doesn't have to be, thunder and lightning and, in this really big way. It can be really subtle and nuanced. And in that subtlety and that nuance is all that's needed for you to have one of the best years of your life if you continue giving it presence. So I've created this masterclass with that intention. So I don't want you to walk away from this masterclass saying, oh, that was all right, really didn't, ho-hum, didn't really matter if I was there or not. I really sincerely want this experience to be something that you will always remember. That's the truth. So that's the intention. Now, there's a premise that I wish to introduce to you that is very profound, that is not very common, that I feel such an honor to have received, to be integrating, and to be sharing with you. And the premise is this: when you think about desiring for more, we normally think about desiring for more from a place of lack, from a place of something missing, from a place of something being wrong with us that needs to be fixed, from a place of something needing to be changed within us. We normally desire more from that orientation. And if you think about it, that's all over the internet, all over the internet. What I want to suggest is this: that the desire for more is created from the appreciation of what already is. Now, my feeling is that if you are watching this masterclass, you are not at the beginning of your journey. You're more than likely probably not in your 20s or maybe even in your 30s. You may be in your 50s and 60s and 70s and maybe even possibly 80. I'm currently coaching an 80-year-old. And if you do find yourself in your 30s and 40s, my guess is that life has accelerated your process, and that you have an experience and a depth of wisdom that's beyond your years. And then for those, 50s and above, my feeling is that you wouldn't be here in this masterclass if this wasn't true for you, that you have years of experience and a depth of wisdom. And my job here, whether life has accelerated that wisdom and that experience or whether years have created that, my job here is to have you see that that experience and that depth of wisdom is to be honored, is to be appreciated, is to be valued, and is to now have a place to be. So my job here is to help you see the wisdom that already exists and the wealth that is, and to also help you see the wisdom that you have not yet seen that is sitting there ready for you to harvest. So with that in mind, that what I'm doing here is honoring who you already are, is honoring the depth of experience and wisdom that you have, seen and unseen, and to be mined. That if that's the place that you're holding yourself, which I'm encouraging you to do in this masterclass, that your desire for more can be created from the appreciation of that, from the appreciation of the value of who you are, of the value that you've accumulated all throughout these years. Again, whether catalyzed by circumstances or because you've lived a lot of life. Can you in this moment, even if you close your eyes, can you in this moment go to your heart space? If you're alone, maybe even put your hand on your heart and really begin to value who you already are. Can you appreciate all the years of experience or experience catalyzed by circumstances? Can you appreciate all of that experience? And there'll be experiences that you've not yet valued to be valued. Can you appreciate all of your life experience? Can you appreciate the depth of wisdom that you've accumulated over the years? Just take that in for a moment. Feel it in your heart. And know that there is wisdom not yet seen, but sitting there waiting to be mined. So that's the premise that our best year yet is not created from lack and things being wrong with us and us needing to change. But our best year yet, one of our best years yet, can be created from the appreciation and the valuing of what is already here and who we already are. So be with that. Now, every year, at the end of the year, a theme chooses me for the following year. It's not like as if I sit here and I go, what is the theme going to be for next year, from a brainstorming point of view or, thinking it up with the rational mind. It's always an intuitive process for me where a theme literally chooses me. And I'm going to share with you a very odd experience that I had that informed me of what the theme for 2024 is. And it is absolutely on point with the premise that I just shared. So I live in Sydney by the ocean, and I love, love, love the ocean. It would be very difficult for me to live away from the water. And one day I was going for a walk, I think it was a Monday morning, and this is about November last year, 2023. And as I was walking, I could feel in my body, and you'll hear me say this many times when we're in this masterclass together, that there are times where I feel things and I know I'm going to receive something. So I could feel in my body that there was something for me to receive that day. And I had the intuitive pull to actually drive up to a place called North Head, which is in the bush and it's overlooking the harbour. It's absolutely magnificent. And it's a place where I have delivered, where I delivered the first Sacred Leadership Program, which is a program for people that I've worked with for many years. And because the people on that program lived in Australia, it was actually a face-to-face program. So we would go up to the quarantine station up there and I'd hire one of the rooms, and every quarter we'd come together. And I had a real desire to go up to what I called Sacred Leaders Territory. And so I went up there and I sat in my car and I received a whole lot of things that I'll talk to in a little while, not now. And I had felt like I'd completed receiving what I needed to receive, and I started to drive out of the national park. But as I started to drive out of the national park, I wasn't through it yet. I had this sense that the national park wanted to give me another gift. There was another gift for me to receive, and I had the oddest experience happen. So in Australia, we have these plants called kangaroo tails, and they literally look like a kangaroo tail, like an arrow going up. They're probably, 2-3 meters high, and they go up. And so I was exiting, coming out of the national park. I saw a kangaroo tail, but instead of pointing upwards, it pointed directly at me, like an arrow at me. And I noticed it. And as I noticed it, the words untapped abundance arrived, like that. Arrow, untapped abundance. And it really stayed with me. And, afterwards I was with the fact that it was a kangaroo tail. And even if you think about the spirit or the energy of a kangaroo tail, kangaroos take leaps and bounds, right? Kangaroos take leaps and bounds. And I really accepted. I thought untapped abundance is the theme for 2024. Untapped abundance. Now let's connect that back to the premise about honoring the experience and the depth of wisdom that you have seen and unseen and yet to be seen, and the untapped abundance of that. The untapped abundance of who you already are. The untapped abundance of who you already are. Can you imagine what would happen if you tapped in to the abundance of who you already are that you've not yet tapped into? Can you imagine what would happen if you really, really tapped into the abundance of your experience and wisdom, seen and yet to be seen? Can you feel the fullness there? Can you feel the wealth that lives inside of you? Can you see how it's in stark contrast to creating more from a place of lack and feeling flawed and like something's wrong with you and you need to change and sort yourself out and, get with the program? And can you feel the difference? So we are honoring the abundance of who you are already based on the life that you have already lived, everything that you've accumulated. It's untapped, and our job is to tap into it. Monday week ago, I wrote a note to self. In fact, what I need to do is talk to you about what notes to self are. Every life-changing moment I've had has been because of something I saw as I wrote out my thoughts and my feelings and my humanity, as I connected, as I acknowledged my aches and my yearnings and my longings, as I acknowledged who I am. Every life-changing breakthrough has happened because of something I've seen through my writing. Last year in June 2023, I had a massive intuitive pull to take myself away for a week and to dedicate myself to writing for a week. And I did. I took myself up to Queensland. I rented an apartment, and that's another story for later. And I wrote. And what I ended up writing, what I was not expecting to write. And what I ended up writing was notes to self. Now, the truth is I've written notes to self for decades. I just hadn't called my writing notes to self until June 2023. So Monday week ago, I was writing a note to self and I had an epiphany. And the epiphany was that who I have been in service to, coaching, in the last year in particular, staring at me in the face, I had not seen it until I saw it through my notes to self, is that I have been working with people that have had a lot of life experience, catalyzed through life circumstances and also because they've lived life, and who have a depth of wisdom. And we have been working with that and seeing what that experience and depth of wisdom is in service to. I just didn't see it. It's so ridiculous until I wrote out my note to self. And when I saw it, when I saw that this is what I'm now in service to, I felt such an honor and a privilege. What I then did was I went through all the people that I'm coaching at the moment, and I wrote a paragraph of what I was observing. And what I'd like to do here is read to you, not all of the observations, but some of the observations, so that you may be able to recognize yourself. So that you may be able to say, oh my God, she's speaking about me. Because ultimately what I intend for this masterclass ultimately is that you say to me, oh my God, it's like as if she was in my mind. Like she created that for me. How did she know that? So let me read to you what I have observed with some of the people that I'm coaching. And let's see if you recognize yourself in any of those people. All right. Honor the ache, for all of your life experience and wisdom has not been for nothing. It is coming to something deeply purposeful, meaningful, impactful, and magnificent. It is never too late to come out. The best is yet to come. Be grateful for the places in which you hold regret, hurt, and lack, for they are the catalyst of your becoming. Who you have become and all that you've accumulated throughout your life has a purpose and a place in the world. Honor your intolerance for inauthenticity, non-aligned relationships, and ways of being and doing that are incompatible with your values and who you have grown into. Because when you trust the process, it trusts you back. When you let go of control and surrender and you honor the depth of experience and wisdom, what is revealed is a mission with a magnitude of impact that it literally brings you to tears. Because of the purity of intention, patience, trust, and faith to allow the unfolding, you now experience that life is no longer working against you, but for you, and awe is a daily occurrence. Have the courage to follow the intuitive pull, even when you and others don't know what it's ultimately in service to. Inherent within that pull is not only a desire, but a role and a privilege to raise the stakes and bend reality. And when that thirst for adventure and exploration arrives again, honor it, because ironically, it comes from the knowing that what you have come to know thus far is just the tip of the iceberg. There comes a moment when you know it's time to surrender again. The pull into self is unignorable. With this pull into self, you're taken into a level of self-honesty that you'd previously not allowed. With this allowing ends generational apology for what others couldn't give themselves, but you are able to now. The consequence is one where the whole world opens up to much greater love, much greater self-expression and leadership, honoring all your years of experience and wisdom, and this time with much greater and wondrous adventure. And whilst the rest of the world is doing needing and seeking, you realize for the first time that the world and its opportunities is seeking you in honor of the depth and purity of your leadership and your capacity to love. There's an ache that yearns for a bigness not yet known, that aches to see what else is possible because life in its true nature is infinitely abundant and generous. What once felt big now feels little, out of alignment, a non-mirror for who you've become. This ache is a tremor, rumbling completions to be had and beginnings to arrive that perhaps were already here staring at you in the face, but you didn't see it. This ache does not seek to hurt you, but instead to love you forward into a role, a place, and an experience that is worthy of your leadership. Do not misinterpret the meaning of this ache. Welcome its yearning. Give it a seat at the table. Listen to its intelligence, because within it is a treasure of personal agency, integrity, a quality of decision that leads from the higher, knowing that a future so grand belongs to you because you well earned the right to inhabit this place. So what I'd like to do now is to lead you into a meditation based on what we've just spoken about. And then after the meditation, I'm going to invite you to write your own note to self. So if you're able to close your eyes, that would be wonderful. If you're walking, that's okay. You can listen to this meditation as you walk. If you're driving, we definitely don't want you to be closing your eyes. All right, so only close your eyes if you're able to. So beginning by taking in a really beautiful breath in right down from your lower belly. And exhaling. And go into your emotional body right now and see, how are you feeling? How are you feeling as I share the premise that the desire for more is created from what is already here, from the appreciation of what is already here? How does it feel when I talk about the theme of untapped abundance? That there is untapped abundance within you, waiting to be seen, waiting to be acknowledged, waiting to be appreciated. How does it feel? How does it feel when I suggest that the desire for more is not created from lack, not enoughness, something being wrong? Even though there may be places in your life that are absent of what truly matters to you. How does it feel when I say that we can meet what is absent in your life from this place of fullness? From this place of who you already are. Now imagine if you had just mind. Imagine perhaps a vision in your mind that is underground. And what is underground is all of your life experience and all of the wisdom you've accumulated over the years. Some of that wisdom you've seen before, and some of that wisdom has been well buried, not yet seen. Imagine being able to pull out life experience after life experience, almost like as if you're pulling it out with a rope. And you're able to see the wisdom that this experience gifted you with. And each time you pull out with that rope, that experience, that life experience, and the wisdom that it gave you, imagine beginning to pile it, to gather it. Like as if it looks like treasure. So for the next few moments, continue pulling out with that rope. Life experience after life experience, and the wisdom that you have gained, collating it and collecting it, allowing it to mount up like this gold, shiny collection of treasure. And then there may even be life experiences that you pull out that you've not yet received its wisdom. But have the intention that as you pull those life experiences that you still hold in misunderstanding and confusion and hurt, placing them amongst the treasure of wisdom that already exists, that you are collating. And allow the brilliance of the wisdom that is already here to illuminate the wisdom yet to be seen from these life experiences that you've not been able to bring into the light, perhaps until now. And perhaps you will receive the wisdom as you collate and you place beside your collection of wisdom. Perhaps you will see it in this moment. And perhaps that wisdom will show itself over the next few days. Perhaps it will show itself in a dream or in an unexpected moment. It will show itself if you accept that within you is a wealth of untapped abundance, a wealth of untapped wisdom yet to be seen. And when you gaze upon that collection of wisdom, that treasure that you have piled together, What jumps out at you? What jumps out at you when you look at that treasure of collated wisdom? Is there a particular piece that you're drawn to, that you feel like holding in your hands and honoring and asking for more of its intelligence? Is there a piece that sits behind the pile that you've not really fully seen its light in its magnificence and brilliance? And if so, maybe you take that and you place that in your hands and you look at that through the eyes of love. Asking it for its wisdom to be illuminated, for clarity to be clarified. And now take that whole collection, that whole treasure in your hands and place it in your heart. And then allow that treasure to move through the different energy centers of your body, your base, your sacrum, your solar plexus, and up to your throat area, and third eye, and crown. Allowing that wisdom to be connected up to the heavens and equally grounded down to the earth. And asking for that wisdom to weave its magic in you over these next few days so that you can, from a place of appreciation, true appreciation, know that who you are is abundantly wise, abundantly full of love, abundantly full of power, even if in your human that doesn't feel entirely true. Even if in your human that feels challenging to accept. Because that's the work that we have to do together over the course of this masterclass. Such that you feel embodied with the truth of that. And so now we're going to come to completion of this meditation, taking a big, deep breath in and out, moving your body around, stretching and yawning, maybe wiping away some tears, and then opening your eyes. And so what I would like to encourage you now, as we complete this day one of my Best Year Yet Masterclass, is I would like you to write a note to self, not from your thinking mind. Write a note to self. It could just be 1 or 2 paragraphs, or it could be pages. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to help you write this note to self by giving you a leading statement. And that is, I didn't see this until now. So go into a process of writing, I should say. Write down, I didn't see this until now. And let that leading statement take you where it wants to take you. Thank you for being with me, and I will see you in day 2 of my Best Year Yet Masterclass. Thank you.